Hi, it is your boy JT here today to talk to you about a movie that I saw last night, actually, at its midnight release, and that movie is Avengers Endgame, you know, the movie we have all been anticipating for all of our lives. If you don't know me, hi, I'm Jay. I am an 18-year-old boy and I like Spider-Man and Captain America. I think Iron Man's pretty neat. I like Thor. I have a Spider-Man tattoo, actually. It's not really Spider-Man. I didn't get it with the intent of it being a Spider-Man tattoo. Okay, I'm gonna talk about the film. So let me get my notes. So basically, spoilers. If you don't want to be spoiled for Avengers Endgame, don't watch this video, because that'd be stupid. So overall thoughts of the movie: it was okay, it was fine, did a good job at what it was trying to do, I guess. Like, as a movie, as a film, as a piece of cinema, it wasn't all that good. Like, visually, it looked a bit bad, to be honest. Special effects were nothing to write home about. It's narratively kind of a bit flat. The pacing was a little awkward, especially as a standalone film. I don't know, like, obviously I can't see it from an outsider's perspective as someone who hasn't seen the whole franchise, but I don't think it would be very enjoyable to someone who isn't, you know, like this. I mean, like, give it a go. Who am I to say? Like, you know, if you're not like a big Marvel fan, I'm not saying don't watch this movie, it's just for us. Like go for it, you might enjoy it. But there was a lot of fan service, basically. The entire first part of the movie was just very slow paced moments with characters. Like, let's have a moment with a character and just talk with them for a bit. And nothing else much happened for a very long while. But I did personally like that, because it didn't feel like a cash grab, even though, like, it kind of was. Obviously, like, with it being a huge film, it is, you know, the summer Hollywood blockbuster, but it didn't feel all that much like that. It did very much feel like it was made for the fans. Like, they at least tried to give the fans what they want, even though I know some fans who aren't very happy, but you could tell that they were at least trying to give the fans something that they'd be happy with. I did just move my camera, don't go off at me, okay? So yeah, big spoiler town now. The opening scene, we see Clint Barton just being a farm dad, you know? Just like out on the ranch with his kids. I don't understand Americans, but I love Clint, is what I got from the first scene. Oh yeah, I might not give very much context, so like if you haven't seen the movie, you might not be able to follow this video, so maybe go see the movie. I mean, like, again, watch it if you haven't, but like if I'm saying stuff and you're like, what's he on about? Sorry, I'm not good at giving context. I liked the post-apocalyptic vibes at the beginning of the movie. I think, like, especially when Tony was like on the spaceship and he was using like half an Iron Man mask to record a video, I was like, hey, that's neat. Post-apocalyptic, I like this. I feel like it's actually the end of the world with this aesthetic. That's quite nice. Imagine just being Thanos, being like, living your farm daddy realness, just picking your weird fruits, and then just Captain Marvel just comes at you with like her whole body. And like, that's just a bit rude. Like, Thor did chop off Thanos' head. Like, right at the beginning of the film, Thanos just like died. And I was like, oh great, we're done. I can go to bed now. But then it kept going. I did like that Thor killed Thanos though, that was nice. I was like, ah, look, there's my boy, he's doing that, he's going. Look at him go. Confession time, I haven't seen Ant-Man 2, Ant-Man and the Wasp, but I'm sure some people care. Like, someone out there cares about Ant-Man, and I'm happy for them, because I'm sure they got a very good movie. I really liked Tony Stark being like a dad. I predicted that Pepper Potts was pregnant, and I was right. And I love Iron Dad, just big old parent vibes. So we see Thor, and he's like drunk now, and he plays Fortnite, and he's like chubby and depressed. It's like most relatable character that's ever happened. Lots of people aren't very happy with this take on Thor, and like obviously I am kind of upset. I'm sad to see a character that I like be in a dark place, like emotionally, like, my boy's not okay, I don't like that. And I am a little bit upset about like what they actually did with him. Like, people are saying it completely undid all of his character growth, and like kind of, but it was warranted. Like, he has been through trauma, therefore he has a right to kind of be moping and be depressed and to not be taking care of himself right now, and to have kind of lost it a bit. Like, I can understand the character motivations there, and I don't think that is that far out of it. But I don't think they have completely ruined the character, even though, you know, it could have been handled better, obviously. But it's not the end of the world. Like, the boy is still there, and like quite a lot of his lines, like, it still seems like him. It doesn't seem like they have completely destroyed the character of Thor, and that is what some people are saying, but like, that's fine. And I don't think he looked all that bad in this movie. Like, he's still cute, like, and I still like the aesthetic. He still looks like a Viking, just like chubby Viking. I feel like the humour with his scenes and his character, like, was very hit and miss. Like, it was good sometimes, I did laugh at a few bits, but like it just kind of felt like it was trying to imitate Ragnarok, but like it wasn't quite there. But again, like it was decent, it was okay. I was just happy to have some Thor content. I am more angry about what they did with my boy Bruce Banner though. Like, obviously I'm happy for him as a character, like he's at peace with the Hulk, which is like, that's a big thing for him. I'm so happy that he's like living his best life. But they could have made it look like anything other than what they made it look like. Like that effect, there was like this big Hulk, but like looked very much just like Mark Ruffalo, and didn't look good visually. Wasn't nice to look at. I didn't enjoy looking at it. Scenes with him in, I was trying not to look at him, as I was looking anywhere other than at him. And yeah, I'm very happy that he's happy. He seems content. He seems to be okay with it. I just don't think it looked very good. There's a scene where like Bruce goes to find Thor, where he's like moping in New Asgard, which is like in Scotland somewhere, and I literally don't know if this is how the dialogue works or if this is a part of the fanfiction I'm currently writing, but Thor is basically like, I'm sad, and then Bruce was like, I've been sad too, you know, who got me out of that? And Thor was like, Natasha, probably, like some sort of bitter ex. And Bruce was like, no, it was you. And now I'm deceased because I ship those boys. Steve Rogers just straight up says gay rights. Natasha like makes a sandwich and then has a cry, which is like, good for her. She's doing great. I'm in love with Captain Marvel still. I loved her movie, love her in this. Her new haircut looks great. She is doing cool, powerful things. She is kicking ass, to be honest. Iconic. Love her. Okay, so we need to address the elephant in the room. This movie is about time travel. I wasn't hyped about the thought of it being about time travel. Like, I was like, oh god, if it's about time travel, I'm like, isn't that a bit of a cheap way out? Isn't that just like, it's almost like saying, and then woke up and it was all a dream. It's like, oh yeah, it's fine, we can just go back in time and redo it all. Like, I have a list here of alternatives to time travel they could have done. Like, so basically the plot is Thanos has destroyed the Infinity Stones, and they're like, it's okay, we can go back in time and get them and bring them back and then use them to bring everyone who died in the last film from Thanos using the Infinity Stones to kill them back. So I've made a list saying, like, we could just fix the Infinity Stones maybe. Like, I'm guessing, like, if Thanos destroyed them and they're all in pieces, just like kind of mush them back together. This is a joke list, by the way. Don't come for me being like, actually, you couldn't do that. Let me just, like, if I was in the writer's room at this moment, I'd be like, can we just, like, because rocks are made of, like, compounds of, like, dust, so just kind of, like, mod them back. They're fine. They're good. We can use them again. Make or find new ones. Couldn't they just, like, go to the mall and, like, buy some? Like, you can get them, right? And, like, Forbidden Planet, Hot Topic. Maybe Thanos, like, didn't destroy them and he just hid them somewhere. Then we could still have, like, the Easter egg hunt sort of situation, but just without the time travel. So yeah, like I said, I kind of think I would have been happier if it wasn't a time travel movie, but the way they handled the time travel wasn't all that bad. I think it was probably the best time travel outcome that could have happened. Like, it's the best they could have done with it being time travel. Like, when Scott first pitched it, it's like, and I think I know how to time travel and we could do that. I was like, no, I'm not sitting here for another 3 hours and watching a movie about time travel. But then the way characters interacted with the concept of time travel and reacted to it, and, you know, Tony's reaction to discovering, like, figuring out how to do it, it kind of, just like the way it was handled like that, I kind of did grow to like it as the movie went on. I was like, okay, I am kind of on board with this. I know it's a goofy idea, but these films are goofy. It's based on a comic book. Comic books are goofy. It's not supposed to be 100% believable, and they did handle it quite well. So I'm just going to take it with a pinch of salt and be like, cool, we're time traveling now. Good. I didn't actually say this in my predictions video that I put on my side channel, but literally, like, right before I went to go see it, I was talking with my dad and I was like, if it's a time travel story, they're gonna go back to iconic moments in, like, the past movies and probably, like, mess with them or, like, redo them or make them all about the current story. And that is probably going to annoy me. And they did kind of do that, but they didn't touch the past too much. They didn't, like, go, actually, remember this iconic moment from Avengers? Well, we're just gonna with it. You know, like, it wasn't all that like that. Like, they went back, but they kind of, like, skirted around the iconic scenes. There was kind of like, here's the iconic scene, you remember? And now we're doing more with it. And it wasn't, like, they didn't destroy it or retcon it or anything, and it was okay. It, like, we kind of still have that, and also the time travel around it without, you know, destroying all of the past. You know what I mean? Like, the scene where they went back to the Battle of New York was, like, great. Like, I was like, oh my god, yeah, like, the first Avengers film, like, I have so many emotions about that film, and now we're back here, like, in the last Avengers film, and we can just, like, see how much these characters have grown through, like, through the course of all these films in between, and, like, you can literally see the difference, like, physically and in their characters, and that did kind of get me in the feels, and I did really like that. The Captain America versus Captain America fight, and, like, the fact, like, he used the Bucky's alive thing to make him let go of him, but, like, the Captain America that said Bucky's alive didn't even know that if Bucky was currently alive. So, like, he's like, he knows how much him thinking Bucky is dead like hurts, and he knows how that state makes him think, and that is the good stuff. There are so many good Steve and Tony moments. Again, I know I'm just pathetic, but boys think they're cute together. So, you know, there's so many cute moments between them, and everyone's going on about the fact that Tony points out how Steve's ass looks. Steve also points out how his own ass looks. It's okay, go off. But like literally 5 minutes after that, there's a moment where Tony's like, do you trust me? And Steve is like, yeah, of course I do. And like, that's just like, Hey Elijah. That was iconic. We got to see Loki. Like, we saw him. There's my boy. He's totally coming back in another film or something. Like, he's fine. Like, he's cool. He'll be back soon. Right, so Bruce goes back in time and talks to the Ancient One. You know, that character from Doctor Strange, that film we all totally liked and remember, about how in the future Doctor Strange is just going to hand over the stone is that the time stone? I think it's the time stone. And yeah, about how Stephen basically is just gonna hand that over to Thanos, and you know, just basically Thanos is gonna be like, if you give me this stone, half of everyone's gonna die. If you don't, this one guy who you just met like 5 minutes ago is gonna die. And Stephen's just like, yeah, okay, there you go. And like, obviously I know that he's seen the future, and he knows that like there's all these many possibilities of the future, but like in only one of them they succeed in defeating Thanos, and in that one that they have failed, and then they have to like succeed after they failed, sort of thing. Like he knows that he has to do that. But that just got me thinking about, okay, like I know it's for the drama, they did it for the drama, but I was just like, he looks at all these possibilities and only one of them they succeed. Like, there isn't even one where they're lucky and they stop Thanos before he gets all the stones or before he clicks his fingers. Like, I know this is just like a really easy nitpick of like both of these Endgame and Infinity War, like, but like yeah, I just gotta, that's just a thing, and I just gotta nitpick at it. I'm sorry, I'm like that. I really liked the bit where like Thor's back in time in Asgard and he gets to talk to his mom, and I thought that was like really sweet. I just love Thor and like his relationship with his mom, and that's really cute. And also Tony back in time gets to talk to his dad, which again is just, that's really nice, and I like that. I like that those characters got to do that. Steve and Tony both going back to the 1950s, that did it for fan service for me. I was like, oh, just like the way they looked, like the fact that they like did it properly, like they like put on costumes, they were like doing a little role play, like that felt like some sort of like alternative universe fan fiction, and I was like so living for that like little scene of them just like infiltrating in like the 1950s, and I was like, ooh, that's nice. That's a really good scene. Jarvis was in this film, like human man guy Jarvis from the 1950s. Remember him? Remember that character? Right, so we have an issue. Nebula. She's a mess in this film. Like, I don't, like, either this is bad writing or good writing, and if it's good writing it wasn't done very well. Basically, she is teaming up with the Avengers and helping them out to go back and get the Infinity Stones and defeat her dad, but she just doesn't tell them any information that she knows. Like, she goes back to a planet, idiot, can't remember space names, with Rhodey, and they're like, we've got to get this one stone. And when only after they get there, she's like, oh yeah, by the way, Thanos and past me and past Gamora are also here trying to get the stone and might like attack us. And then they do, and then that's pretty much the whole downfall of the whole movie. Like, because Thanos sees them there, he then goes back to the future to like do the big end fight scene. So basically that's like the downfall of the whole movie. Like, couldn't she have just, like, I don't know if I'm being stupid or if there's a really simple answer to this that I'm just missing. Couldn't she have just been like, by the way guys, on this planet Thanos from the past is going to be there trying to get this stone as well, so like maybe like send a lot of backup to this one, or like just be prepared for that. Also, Clint Barton and Natasha Romanoff go to another space planet name that I can't remember. You guys are all going to be so angry in the comments. But yeah, I just struggle to remember sci-fi made up words. They go anyway to that planet where they have to, where you have to sacrifice someone in order to get the Soul Stone. And she like knows, right? She knows that's what you have to do in that place to get that stone. Because she knows that happened to Gamora. Like, she knows that's how Gamora died, right? I'm guessing she knows that, but if she does, she doesn't think to mention it to Clint and Natasha. So when they show up there, they're not prepared at all. So then Natasha dies. Like, I know like one of them probably would have had to die anyway to get it, but she could at least like have prepared them or give them like some warning, you know? Like, she just doesn't. So like, this got me thinking, either obviously that's just bad writing, they like wanted it to play out how it did, so they were like, wouldn't she have just mentioned it? Let's just not have her mention it and then just hope no one notices. Or she's like a double spy, maybe. I think like she's still morally ambiguous and is kind of helping them but also not giving them information that they need, which like that wasn't portrayed very well in the movie. Like, I couldn't really tell that was going on, or if she had literally just forgotten to tell people this, or if she just didn't know this information. Like, that bit was very unclear. I am gonna have to go and watch this movie again just to see if I can figure out that bit amongst a few other bits that like I don't get that at all. If someone could try and explain it to me, maybe. I am quite thick, so if you do try and explain it to me, I might not get it. Okay, like, to be honest, I didn't think I'd be having like Clint Natasha friendship feels in the year of our Lord 2019. I thought that I was over those in like 2015, but they're back. Like, so basically they're there at the top of this cliff and they know they've got to sacrifice one of them so they can get his hands on the stone. And like, I knew from like the beginning of that scene it's probably going to be Natasha. Like, they're probably going to agree that it's going to be Natasha because like Clint has a family that he could get back to if this mission is successful. But oh my god, the feels. Like, I noticed early on in the movie that Natasha was wearing her little like golden arrow necklace, and I was like, oh my god, that friendship is like just the best thing that's ever happened in the history of the earth. And I love them and I love their friendship, and it made me feel things. The scene where Thanos and Gamora and Thanos' henchman are interrogating like past Nebula, like they're all in the past, they're the past people, because past Nebula has some memories from future Nebula, and like revealing that they're coming to get the stones. And he's like, what are you doing this for? Because he can tell that there's another Nebula like somewhere within the vicinity, and he's kind of figured out that it's like from a different time coming back to get the stones anyway. And for this entire conversation, like, Thanos and his henchmen are kind of talking about it, and Gamora's just kind of there in the background, and she is like one step behind on the entire thing. So she's like, what, there's two Nebulas? What, there's like, is this time travel? Like, a full like sentence after everyone else in the room has figured it out. And I know this is supposed to be like a dramatic scene, but I was smiling the whole way through it because I am more unsexual, and she just wasn't getting it, and that was very endearing. My camera died because I'd literally been rambling for that long. Bruce Banner volunteers to like put on the second Infinity Gauntlet. They make another Infinity Gauntlet once they've got all of the Infinity Stones, and they put them in, and like someone needs to put it on and click their fingers, but it's super powerful and could hurt someone. So Bruce Banner's like, hey, I'll do it. And then I cried. I hope that Bruce Banner knows that he's worth like the whole world, and that I'd literally die for him, because he is so important and just so good. Then like it all goes to hell because like the final fight scene breaks out, Thanos gets there, but they have succeeded. They have brought everyone back, I think, at this point. Again, I've only seen this movie once, and it was like at 3 in the morning, and I had had a couple pina coladas like when I'd sawn it, and I just said sawned it instead of seen it. Neither of those were right. Anyway, I don't know what actually happened in this movie. I don't know why I'm talking about it. So anyway, there's a moment in the end fight scene, but kind of at the beginning of it. Steve is down, Tony kind of like comes up to him and is just like, that's my man, as he's getting him back up. And I'd like a death certificate with my name on it. Right, another confusing thing about Nebula, can someone just explain this character to me? She like, there's the Infinity Gauntlet, and I think like Clint's got it, and her past self is there, and her past self is trying to get it to Thanos, but her current self is there also, and her current self shoots her past self. But like, wouldn't that make her dead? Like, I know they do explain the rules of time travel in this movie, and I was listening, but I don't understand them, and I don't remember them. But like, if you shoot your past self, aren't you dead now? Can someone please explain this to me? Also, another thing I don't understand, right? They bring back all of the people who like disintegrated from Thanos' snap in the end of Infinity War, right? And they've been gone for 5 years. They've been dead for 5 years. And when they bring them back to like the current timeline, right? They bring them back to like now. So like, they've been gone for 5 years. And have they aged in that time at all? Like, I noticed this, like I thought of this like when Peter Parker came back. I looked at him and I was like, he's still a kid though. Like, so like I wouldn't have expected them to age while they've been dead. And like, they do bring them back to like current time, right? They don't bring them back to just before the snap? Just after the snap? I don't know. Anyway, like I think that's what happens. I think they bring them back to like 5 years in the future, but they haven't aged. And then like right at the end, Peter goes like back to school and is hanging out with Ned, who like it was his mate at school, and like he hasn't aged either. So like, were they both dead? Or like, have the people who were like dead from the snap actually aged, and like the movie just didn't do a very good job at showing it? Or like, is Peter like still 15 and his friends are like 20? I don't know how old Spider-Man is in these movies, but like that is also confusing me. I hope I explained that well enough and you understand why I'm confused on that specific thing. But that is another thing that is very confusing to me. Like, have they aged while they were dead? And why isn't this addressed? Or was it and I'm just really thick? Okay, so anyway, back to more about the end fight scene, the big dramatic climax of this movie, because this is like, I was sitting in my seat and this is what the whole movie was just like totally sold to me at this point. It's like so beautiful. There's this point where like they see all the portholes open, like Doctor Strange's swirly portholes, and all of the people who died from Thanos' snap like come through and they're like ready to fight. And it is like, this is like one of the only good looking shots in this movie. It looks so like comic booky, but also kind of like a Renaissance painting. It's very stunning, and it's like full of like these characters from like the entire franchise, and it just feels like watching a massive fight scene from a comic book. And is that I was just sitting there watching that, and I was like, I just kind of felt like I understood the whole film at that point. I was like, yeah, like this has kind of been a bit of a ridiculous film. Like, I didn't really get the time travel thing. I do think that Bruce / the Hulk looks kind of ridiculous, but like at the end of the day, it is crazy, it is big, it is like magical, and that is what I love about it. And you know, it's goofy, it's not a good film, but I am very much enjoying it. The big flying robot snake alien things from Avengers Assemble are back. Like in the end fight scene, they come down because obviously they were to do with Thanos in that film, right? And Thanos has them like in his army, and he just like has them again, and they're here, and it's like, oh my god, it's those big monster things. And they still look weird and just like what is going on there, but I was having such a good time just like looking at them like, hey, it's those things. Thanos also has like a lot of CGI dogs, just like massive big CGI, just like thousands of like hounds, and I'm like, great, why not? Right, guys, Steve picks up Thor's hammer, he picks up Mjolnir, not even going to attempt to properly pronounce it. He like summons it, and I was like, I felt like a 5-year-old boy watching that. I like audibly gasped. Like I kind of knew that maybe it was gonna happen, like at some point, like for the entire time like we've been watching Avengers movies, we're like, maybe Captain America will pick up Thor's hammer, but it happened. Yeah, it was literally iconic. I love Steve so much. And and Thor was like, I knew it! And he's like, oh my, it's so good. Alright, so in the end battle scene, Valkyrie comes in and she's riding like a Pegasus. I don't know if that's actually what they're called in this universe, but it's like a big ass white horse with wings. It's a flying horse. Where did she get that from? Like, okay, did like the people from Asgard bring their own flying horses with them, like when they moved to Earth? Like, were the flying horses on the plane? Anyway, she looks iconic. I love her. Like in my notes there's this bit that says Spider-Man Gauntlet Cap Hammer Pegasus, and what I meant to say is that there is this like one continuous shot in this end fight scene where like Spider-Man is holding the Infinity Gauntlet and Captain America throws, I think this is what happens again, like it just kind of looks terrible, there's loads of CGI going on, but I think Captain America throws Thor's hammer, and that, like, Spider-Man grabs it, and that drags Spider-Man with the Infinity Gauntlet onto Valkyrie's Pegasus. That was fun. That was just like a fun thing to describe. Captain Marvel is like, she's got the Infinity Gauntlet because they're kind of like playing pass the baton around. Like everyone has a go at like carrying the Infinity Gauntlet round to the final end fight scene. So there's a scene. Carol's got it. She's got it in her hand, and she's like, I think Peter gives it to her. Maybe. I think Peter gives it to her at one point. That was a cute moment. Anyway, he was like, I'm Peter Parker, and she's like, hi Peter Parker, and she just had such mom vibes. Anyway, so Carol's got it, and she's like, I'm gonna go take this over there, and then like loads of like all of the girls are there. There's like every single woman in this entire like franchise is just there in a line at that moment. Oh my god, Pepper Potts in her Iron Woman suit. Absolutely iconic, I love that so much. Anyway, they're all there, and it's just like, we've got her back, and then they all go and help her carry it across the battlefield. And I was just like, it's such like, let's go lesbians vibe. It's great. I love that bit. Like, I don't understand, like, obviously it doesn't make sense that like all of the women happen to be in like in a line then, but like, I don't care. You see what I mean? Like, I don't care that it's goofy and unbelievable, because that's poetic cinema. That looks iconic. That's great. Alright, so after the fight scene, it's like the end, and we kind of wind down and see all of the characters, what they're doing now. And And Steve's ending, right, so Steve Rogers is like, he's got the mission to take all of the Infinity Stones back to their points in time so that time doesn't get all messed up after they've borrowed them, right? So he's like, I'm gonna go do this, and he leaves Bucky Barnes and Sam Wilson just like chilling there while he goes and does it. And they're like, where's he gone? Because like it takes a while to come back. And then he's like old and sitting like over there, and it turns out that he went back in time and he stayed back in time and he went and had a happy life with Peggy Carter, his girlfriend from like the war. You know, and that's like really cute, and I really like that ending for him, and a lot of people are going off about it. Like, maybe I'll see, wait, like, okay, like, if you don't like it, that's valid, but I am defending this ending for him because, like, we know he wasn't happy in present day. Like, a big part of his character is that he fell out of his time, and, you know, he wanted to go back home and he wanted to be with Peggy. So that's great, he got that. Like, I want him to be happy, and he's happy doing that, so that's great. It's kind of a dick move that he left Bucky just like to live in modern day as well, because I don't think Bucky would be very happy about that, but he's got Sam, so that's fine. Also, Sam is Captain America now. Like, old Captain America handed the shield to Sam, and so he's Captain America now, and that is iconic. I'm really looking forward. Like, I hope we have lots of new Captain America content with Sam Wilson as Captain America, because especially if Bucky Barnes is going to be like his sidekick, and it's going to be like a Winter Soldier Captain America sort of thing going on there, and like, that's going to be really cool, because I really like those two characters and their chemistry, like Sam and Bucky, and I like, you know, Captain America and Winter Soldier sort of dynamic as well, so I think that would go really well together. And then Thor kind of goes off, basically be like, I'm gonna go do my own thing now, because basically Thor has a character arc over this entire film. At the beginning he's very depressed because he's been through a lot of trauma. He's like, I'm not good, I'm out of it, I've like kind of given up. And then like over the course of the film he puts things right, you know, he goes on this mission, he like restores he helps restore everything, bring everyone back, and then at the end, because he kind of has a pep talk with his mom in the middle, then at the end he's like, I'm just gonna go do my own thing and find myself. So he's like, I can't be king of New Asgard at the moment, so he tells Valkyrie that she's king now. And that's really exciting because I like Valkyrie and she's gonna make a great ruler, and then Thor goes and joins Guardians of the Galaxy, which is also gonna be really cool. Yeah, I'm so proud for her. Like, I'm just so happy for her. She's got a little kingdom now. That's really cool. So Thor's story arc, I meant to mention this a little earlier, but like, yeah, I like Thor's story arc. Like, it completes itself in this movie. So like, again, I understand if you're not happy with his story arc. That's cool, that's fine. Like, you're allowed to disagree, you're allowed to not like parts of this movie, or you're allowed to not like this movie. Oh, obviously I dislike parts of this movie, but again, like, yeah, Thor kind of did mess up his character a little bit, but I'm happy with where his story is going right now, and like, he seems okay now, so like, it's fine. He's still fine, it's cool. I'm just happy that he's like able to go off and do his own thing now and have his own adventures, and you know, he seems like that's actually what he wants. So, oh yeah, Tony Stark died. Like, yeah, this like he's dead. Peace out. Oh my god, you're like gonna hate me. You're like, I actually might just get like a death threat for being so casual about that. Okay, wait. I did cry at the end where like there's like the proof that Tony Stark has a heart arc reactor, and it's like in the reef and it's being put on the lake, it's funeral. I did cry. I shed very manly tears at that part, but like, I was emotionally ready for Tony to die, because like, you know, ever since like, you know, it's like the announcement of this movie, I was like, oh, Tony's gonna die. So like, I was ready for it, but yeah, it was sad. The guy in front of me at the cinema, like, during Tony's death scene, like, he did like a salute, and that set off my fight or flight reflexes. I was like, I do not trust you. Like, why are you doing that? That's really weird. But sure, you do you mourn that fictional character however you want to mourn that fictional character, that's great. But yeah, I really did like the fact that, because he sacrificed himself. I brushed over this because I wanted to mention at the end. But like, he sacrifices himself at the end. He clicks and gets rid of Thanos and his army because he's wearing the Infinity Gauntlet, so he can do that, and he just does all that, and that kills him because it's like super strong and powerful, and like he's like, that's too much for his little body. So he dies, and like he sacrifices himself to like literally like save the whole world and universe and stuff like that, which I think that fits his story really well, and I really do like that ending for him, even though it's sad he died, but like he had a really good ending. Yeah, and I liked his death scene. I liked when like I liked that Steve was there. I liked that Peter was there, and I liked Peter's lines to him, and I liked Pepper's line to him saying like, you can rest now. That was nice. I think that really completes his narrative, because like, you know, his whole story, like at the beginning in his first film, he wasn't all that likable, and he had like a reputation for like causing death and destruction and stuff. But then like in the end, for him to sacrifice himself to save Earth and like the universe and stuff, like that's like a very good character narrative for him, and it's good. Growth. Okay, so that is the end of the video. I would give this like an 8.5 out of 10. I'm very excited about it. Like nerdiness, very excited about it. As a movie, it was a decent movie. Just like as a movie. But nerd geek boy is having a great time geeking out over it. So that's that. Sorry for the long video. I'm not. I had to express all of my emotions, and no one else is going to listen to me other than the internet. So bye. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel. I talk about Spider-Man and my problems. If you wanna discuss this film, you know, comment, maybe explain the bits that I didn't understand. If you have any theories that kind of bounce off my theories, that's cool. If you have any like, if there's bits you liked, if there's cool bits that you think I missed out, mention them. I'm not down for like, you know, discourse really. It depends how lighthearted it is, but like I don't know. Yeah, I'm just kind of enjoying this movie on its own and not really thinking about other people's reactions to it, which, you know, I'm just kind of taking it as my own thing. I don't know if that makes any sense, but that's kind of how I feel about it, because I don't want to be influenced by other people maybe being negative about this movie, and then I'm just like, should I hate it because other people hate it? No, like I had fun watching it, therefore I'm saying it's a good movie. But you know, I think it wasn't perfect, and again, like if you think it was perfect, bye. There wasn't like a mid-credit, end-credit scene, and I read an article, I don't know how true this was, but I read an article basically saying, yeah, we didn't put one in because you're supposed to like dwell on what you just watched, and you know, the mid-credit, end-credit scenes are usually like a trailer for the next one, so just kind of think about this one for a bit. And I'm like, that's fun. But I needed a wee, and I sat through the whole end credits waiting for my end credit scene, just like with my bladder hurting, and that isn't good for my body, so I'm not, that's fine. I was like, when I was reading an article, I was like, don't tell me how to think, don't tell me what to think about this movie, but like, you know, when you're watching a movie, the entire thing is telling you how to think and feel, so I can't really go off, but